Good morning, students. Today, let us start the chapter. Next topic. Earlier, what we have discussed? Organ specific and tissue specific manifestation. Under chapter 13, that is, why do we fall ill? So, that already we have discussed. Today, what we will discuss? Principles of treatment. Okay. So, today we shall discuss principles of treatment. So, under this principles of treatment, two things, or we can categorize into two ways. Okay, one, to reduce the effect of the disease, that is to take care of the symptoms, to reduce the symptoms. Okay, so first, under principles of treatment, we have to reduce the symptoms or effect of disease. So, as you all know, when a disease is caused, it leads to development of some symptoms. So, two ways you can treat, or two principles are there for the treatment of the disease. First, what we can do? We can control the symptoms. We can control the symptoms whichever it is arising in the body. So these symptoms are caused due to the infection that is caused, due to the pathogen or some external or internal factors. Due to these external or internal factors, some symptoms are developed in the body. So by looking at the symptoms, you can understand that you have got the infection. So these symptoms, it can be of any type. It can be symptoms, one, it can be fever. Okay, it can be headache. Okay, it can be pain, or loose motion also it can be there. So few only will discuss. So first thing what we can do, we don't know what we are suffering from, but when we look at the symptoms, we can understand that yes, some infection we have got. For example, if we have fever, fever is not actually a disease. It is a symptoms which shows that you have got some infection. So when you have fever, what you can do? First principle of treatment is to reduce the symptoms. To reduce the symptoms. So what we can do? One thing, we can take some specific medicines to control the symptoms. So first, to control fever, what we can take? What medicine? Antipyretic. Antipyretic medicines we can take to control fever. Okay. In case of pain, what we take? Analgesic. In case of pain, if we have some pain, we take medicine that is analgesic. If we have sneeze or cold, what we take? Anti-allergics. Okay. These are the medicines that we take when we get the symptoms of the disease. So, fever or pain, it is not a disease. These are the symptoms that tells you that you are suffering from some disease. Other than that, what we can do to reduce the symptoms? If we are suffering from fever or some pain, what we do? We take the medicine and we have to take rest. When we take sufficient rest, what else is needed? Rest. Rest and sleep. If you take rest or if you take a sleep, after some time, what you feel? You feel a little relaxed, isn't it? So, this sleep or rest, it helps to conserve the energy. Conserve the energy, and that energy can be utilized to reduce the symptoms of the disease. So, if you are not feeling okay, slight fever is there or slight pain somewhere is there, what you do? You take rest. So that is also one way how you can reduce the symptoms, or you can reduce the effect of the disease. Okay. Other than this, what you can do? Second thing what you can do? This reduction by taking different medicines. You have taken medicine for fever, you have taken medicine for pain, you have taken medicine to control the sneezing. Is it going to control the disease? Will it kill the pathogen? it is not going to kill the pathogen. So these medicines or these ways are only for reducing the symptoms of the disease, to give you some relief for some time, but it is not going to kill the pathogens. So by reducing the symptoms, we cannot control the disease, okay, or we cannot kill the pathogens. So what we have to do? Second thing, you have to kill the pathogen. Kill the pathogen causing the disease. So now what we have to do? We have to target the pathogens. The pathogens which are causing the diseases, we have to target that pathogen. Then only we will be able to get rid of the disease, or then only we will be free from the disease. Okay, so what we have to do in this case? As you know, diseases are caused by different pathogens. It can be bacteria, it can be virus, it can be protozoa, it can be caused to some other worms also. So what you have to do? First, you have to find out the pathogen. Which pathogen has caused the disease, or which pathogen has entered your body and it has increased in number. If the pathogen is in very less number, will you get the disease? You will not suffer from the disease. When the pathogen reaches sufficient number and when they affect your organ, or when they affect a particular system of your body, that time you suffer from the disease. When it is in very less number, your body is able to fight with that. Your body's antibodies are able to fight, or your immune system is capable to kill the pathogens, then you will not get the infection. But if it increases in number, if the pathogens they increase in number, then you get the disease. Then you suffer from disease. Then you get then you can see the symptoms of the disease. Then you come to the, yes, I am suffering from some disease. Some problem is there inside any particular organ. So now what you have to do? You have to find out the pathogen, the causative pathogen, or the disease causing pathogen. You have to find out whether it is caused by virus, or it is caused by bacteria, or it is caused by protozoa. So through various tests you can find out, okay, or sometimes by looking at the symptoms or signs also, physician tells, yes, you are suffering from this, then the medicine is given. So now each pathogen, as already we have discussed, they have a specific biochemical pathway, okay, or you can say metabolic pathway. They have biochemical processes they perform inside the body. Okay, every pathogen or every group of organism, for example bacteria, they have a specific metabolic pathway. Viruses, they also have a specific metabolic pathway. So if you compare the two different groups, bacteria metabolic pathway with the virus pathway, is it same? It is totally different. So the activities or as the cell is different, inside the cell the materials are different, so the metabolic pathways are also different in different group of organisms. So now the treatment depends on the controlling. Now what you have to do? Now you know about the pathogen which has caused the infection. Now you have to control the metabolic pathway. Okay, now how you can control? By controlling the metabolic pathway. As earlier what we discussed in bacteria, we had done bacteria. Bacteria, how it was done? By taking the medicine It can inhibit the metabolic pathway, that is inhibit the formation of
cell wall.
okay, formation of cell wall, or it can inhibit the DNA synthesis. Okay, and it can also inhibit protein synthesis or ribosome synthesis or protein synthesis. Both the cases it is going to affect. So, in this case what you have to take? Antibiotics. Antibiotics. Already we have discussed penicillin, what it does? Inhibits the cell wall formation. So, as the cell wall formation is inhibited, as the cell wall is not formed, bacteria, as a result, what will be the result? Bacteria dies. Okay. Then, ciprofloxacin we have discussed. Ciprofloxacin is another antibiotic. What it does? It inhibits the DNA synthesis. Inhibits DNA synthesis. Third, we have discussed about the streptomycin. Streptomycin is the antibiotic. What it does? It inhibits ribosome or protein synthesis. As you know, these ribosomes are responsible for protein synthesis. Okay. So, if ribosome synthesis is stopped, then what will happen? Protein synthesis will also stop. If proteins are not formed, then bacteria will not be able to continue its metabolic pathway. It will not be able to perform its biochemical reaction. So, in this way we can kill the pathogens. Other than this, for viruses, antiviral drug, antiviral drug, or vaccines are also, vaccine will discuss next. Okay, antiviral drug can be taken, which controls. Okay, for protozoa like malaria, that also you have medicine, which is quinine, which we get from the cinchona, bark of the cinchona tree. Okay, what it is? Quinine. Quinine is the medicine for the treating malaria. So it controls the growth of the protozoa. So different microorganisms or different pathogens are controlled by different medicines. Okay. So these all medicine, what they do? They inhibit the biochemical pathway. Okay. For viruses, it is difficult to develop the medicine because viruses, they take the machinery of the host cell. So what you have to take care in this case? You have to take care, or you have to target the metabolic pathway of only the pathogen. If the metabolic pathway of the host cell is also, if you don't take care of that, then what will happen? This medicine is going to affect the pathogen also, it will affect the host cell also. Then instead of getting the relief, then the person will suffer from some other problems, other symptoms will develop. Okay, because it is killing the pathogen also, it is killing the host cell also of our body. For example, if we take, then we will get some more symptoms, and we may suffer from some other problems also along with that. So that has to be taken care when the medicine is taken, or when the medicine is developed for treating the pathogens, that it should only kill the pathogens but not the host cells. Okay, or not the cell of the animal on which it is administered. Okay, this is the principles of treatment. Now next we will discuss what we have?
Principle of prevention.
Prevention. Principle of prevention. Okay. Now this term prevention, what it tells you? That instead of becoming diseased and taking the medicine, what is better? Prevention is better than cure. Why? On what basis you can say? Prevention is better than cure. Why it is so said? What are the reasons? What are the reasons behind it? Why prevention is better than cure? What are the reasons? Can anyone say? Because if you get the infection or if you get the disease, what it is going to do? It is going to your function of the body organs can be, or you can say disruption in the, or you can say disorders appears, or the function, normal body function of the, normal functioning of the organ or the system is interrupted. Okay, so first thing, why? To maintain proper functioning of the organs. Why? Because disease leads to abnormal, or you can say abnormalities in the function of various organs. Okay, so why prevention is better than, because to maintain proper functioning of the organs, because disease leads to abnormalities in the function of various organs, so prevent it. So to prevent the abnormalities in the function of the various organs. Second, what disease, what it does? Disease causes disease can make a person bedridden. For some time, even if proper treatment is given. What does it mean? If a person suffers from some disease, he has come to know, he went to doctor, he is getting the treatment. Will he recover very fast? He will not recover. It will take time. For some time, he has to be on the bed if he suffer from some disease. Because if the treatment starts, then also it will take time to recover. For that reason, what is better? Prevention is better than cure. Other than this, third thing, if the person is suffering from infectious disease, okay, person, or you can say diseased person, if he has some infectious disease, okay, diseased person can serve as a source of spread of disease. So, in case if a person is suffering from infectious disease, then in that case what will happen? That person may serve as a source of spread of diseases. From that person, if the other members in the family they don't take care, then the infection can spread from one person to other person. So these are the three things. And what will happen? Other than this, it is going to, if you suffer from disease, then it is then your time is wasted going to the doctor, taking rest, you cannot do your activities properly. Okay, then your financial condition also, it matters, or it affects the economic condition also. If you suffer from disease, you have to buy medicine, you have to go to doctor. So first thing, you will not be able to concentrate on your work, you are losing there. Okay, whatever work you are doing, so if you don't do that work, you will not be able to earn that money, or you are going to lose that money for that number of particular days. Then financial condition also matters here, because when you go for a treatment to a doctor, then you have to pay there, you have to buy the medicine also. So if you get a disease, then there is wastage of time also, there is wastage of money also. So what is better? If you prevent the disease before you get the infection, if you prevent the sources of the diseases, then you can be free from disease and you can be a healthy person. Now what are the things how you can prevent? Now let us see how we can prevent the diseases. Yes. Now how you can prevent the diseases? Prevention of diseases. How we can prevent? First we have to take care of the airborne diseases. First, prevent airborne diseases. How you can prevent airborne diseases? If you avoid going in a crowded place, or overcrowding should be avoided. You can say crowded places should be avoided. Why overcrowded places should be avoided? For corona also what is said? It is better to maintain a distance, because airborne disease, how they spread? They spread through air. So if you are living in a house where so many people are there, or if you are going to a crowded place, to a marketplace, or to any place where there are large number of people, a gathering is there where there is large number of people. So in that condition, if someone is suffering from some infectious disease, easily if he sneezes or coughs, easily that through the air it can spread to the other person. So what we have to avoid? To prevent airborne disease, what you have to avoid? You have to avoid overcrowded places. Okay. Then second, how to prevent waterborne diseases. How you will prevent waterborne diseases? By drinking clean and safe water. Clean and safe water. Okay. Good filters. Good filtered water if you drink, then you can avoid waterborne diseases. And one more thing, defecation in the open should be avoided. Throwing the waste in the water should be avoided. That otherwise, if the water is contaminated and it is utilized for various purposes, so directly or indirectly that contaminated water is going to spread the waterborne diseases. So that you have to take care. Third, what? Vectors. Prevent growth of vectors. Yes. How you can prevent the growth of the vectors? Cleanliness you have to maintain. Okay, that is proper disposal of garbage. First is what? Proper disposal of garbage. Okay. Then drains should be covered. Then by spraying insecticides on the stagnant water, on the ditches, drains, etc. Okay. If insecticides are sprayed on the ditches, means some holes are there where water has gathered, so or drains, then what will happen? It will control the growth of the pathogens, or it will control the growth of the pathogens also, it will control the growth of the vectors also, of the insects. Mosquitoes and flies will be controlled, because in stagnant water, what happens? The mosquitoes, they breed in stagnant water very fast, and the larva, it grows very well in the stagnant water. Okay, and it increases in number. Then what else we can do? Introduction of some fish like Gambusia. Gambusia is a kind of fish which, when introduced in pond water, what it does? It feeds on the larva of the mosquito. So as it feeds on the larva of the mosquito, then what will happen? The mosquito breeding will be under control. The mosquito will not be able to increase in number. So that also can be done. Introducing Gambusia fish in pond. Fish in pond water to reduce mosquitoes. Gambusia, it feeds on larva of mosquito. Feeds on larva. Okay. Then public cleanliness. Public cleanliness is also very important factor. It has to be maintained. Surroundings should be clean so that the pathogens and the vectors are under control. Other than this, what is proper nutritious food? If you take nutritious food, then it is going to increase your immunity power also, because good kind of food if you take, it is going to increase your immunity power and you will not suffer from any disease if you take proper amount of food, a balanced diet having all the nutrients. Even the deficiency diseases are caused due to this improper diet. So if you take a proper diet, you will be healthy and your immunity power will also increase and it will help to fight from the infections. So proper nutritious diet is also very important. Other than this, what we need? What we need? Stress-free life. Stress-free life. Okay. If you are free from stress and if you are happy, you need a happy life. Essential. Or to be happy, So happiness matters a lot. Happiness and good sleep. Are essential. Okay. If you are very happy, you will be able to deal with all the stresses in the life. You will be able to do your work properly, and if you have a good sleep, that is very, very essential. So these are all the general measures that you have to take care. These are all the general measures. Okay. General measures that you can take to prevent the diseases. Okay. Special measures we'll discuss in the next class. Okay.